one of the tribal languages that are popular there are Zulu.
Zulu, yes, yeah.
Well, what's the other language? Bamba Klat. That's one. That one.
They
They have Zulu and
Netherlands already does reverse global warming somehow. India was so influential to Europe that they had to set up companies to go there. The Dutch actually explored most of the world, including Australia. They even touched Australia before Captain Cook.
Seafarers navigated. Yeah, if you didn't have a map.
Google Maps.
Google Maps, yes. They pulled out their fucking old-timey compass and just fucking spun up the internet into the sail.
Welcome back to another episode of You Three Guys. I'm your host Raja, and today we have Jack.
Yo, what's up?
We have Sanjeev.
Yo, your boy back in the building.
And finally Khalid.
What's up, everyone? How you doing?
So last night I was watching this Netflix show which was voiced over by Peter Dinklage, and he was talking about the rise and fall of dictators. Okay,
Is that the small guy from Game of Thrones that gets stitches somehow?
What's his name? Peter Badungadung? What?
He's a famous American actor, famous for Game of Thrones in particular. But his earliest movie, which got famous, was Elf. I think that was one of his earliest movies.
Nah, he's made some classics, X-Men and all those things. Yeah.
X-Men. Days of Future Past.
When was he in X-Men?
Days of Future Past, bro.
Yeah,
That's one of the greatest movies.
I didn't watch that.
Big things do come in small packages.
Exactly, that's the whole joke. And it's not small, by the way. Political term we're supposed to use is vertically challenged. But coming back to political correctness, Donald Trump won an election. Well, the election, actually.
That's not politically correct, though.
Wow. Well, depends on who you are. But
Fair call.
that brought me back to another video I was watching, The Rise and Fall of Empires by Ray Dalio. Very insightful video. And I was thinking maybe, we can discuss about how to lose a global monopoly in 10 easy steps, Yeah, why not? We'll watch a video, try something new, and see how it goes.
Take the audience for a ride.
Yeah, let's do it.
So, what's the first video? Come on, hit it up.
So the first video we're going to be watching, ladies and gentlemen, is coming with When the Dutch Ruled the World, the rise and fall of the Dutch East India Company. So we're going to be watching this. Stay tuned.
The Netherlands.
Man, the accent is Dutch as well.
It is actually one of the wealthiest
It
and
is.
most important economic centers.
You would know, Jack, right? Because your ancestry is Dutch.
My ancestry is Dutch. And like some of my family members still have an accent. Like my grandfather does, but it's a bit thicker. So this is a lot more subtle. I'm used to hearing like a man from 60 onwards.
All right.
Being like kind of gravelly voice.
How does it feel to see your country of origin or your ancestral country being one of the empires?
That's extremely satisfying. I learnt about this in high school. I used to know a kid who was also had Dutch heritage like me, and we would go on fucking having conversations and making jokes that like the Dutch will rise up again.
Oh,
we will return to power.
you guys are making a comeback.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
You know the Dutch soccer team?
Yeah.
Yo,
They're doing well?
bro, one of my favorite players, Robin van Persie, Wesley Sneijder. These guys were GOATs, legends, bro. Come on.
Dude, and like back in the day, they used to be short as fuck, right? Their houses and their doorways were just so low. If you're tall enough, you smash your head into it. But they've shot up,
Bro,
and we're literally rising up.
I've seen the statistics, the numbers. They went from 160 average height to 180. If 180 is the average, like that's the average, there are people taller than that, like 2 meters or higher.
Yeah, no, we will make a comeback. We will rule the world again. You just wait and watch. We'll come back as the next reserve power.
Also, if you want to watch the video that we're watching, we'll add it to our link below. So
it'll be in the descriptions.
Yeah, it'll be in the description.
Is arguably the greatest and most successful one in history. Today we'll see how
The greatest and most
Netherlands
successful?
transformed from a swampy backwater into a
Swampy
global trading
backwater,
empire
bro.
thanks to the Dutch East India Company. This video is brought to you by Cheddar, who made a video about a different kind of
Yeah,
channel.
I'm gonna skip that.
The Netherlands today might be an economic powerhouse, but back in the 16th century, well, it wasn't doing too great. To start things off, it wasn't even independent. Instead, it was under the domain of the Spanish Empire.
Damn.
One of the
Fuck, man.
Damn, imagine being ruled by people who are like, hola, por favor.
No habla inglés, but we're gonna fuck your shit up.
As European colonizers, the Spanish Empire controlled vast territories across the world, and used the money it gained from slavery and trade to fund numerous wars of conquest and suppression.
Oh, shit.
That's
Hitler
crazy.
ultimately became
Yo.
a victim of one such war. They had become part of the empire unwittingly due to marriage, and spent the next 80 years trying to break free. But the Dutch independence effort ran into a big problem very early on. You see, the Dutch were a seafaring people. Fishing and mercantile shipping was their thing, and they had been doing it for centuries.
Right.
The
We
main
ruled
goods
that
they
shit.
shipped were
They were the goats of like early sailing
like
technology.
legit early sailing. We ruled that shit.
Mm-hmm.
The innovations that the Dutch made in that regard.
Yeah.
Oh.
And, and also, I think that because of that, the Dutch actually explored most of the world, including
Yeah.
Australia. They even touched Australia before Captain Cook.
So did the Spanish.
Yeah.
Like in that period that it just mentioned, when they were ruling, I guess they did land in Australia, and then the Dutch did as well. And both times they just went, "There's fucking nothing here. Why would it's too big?" And
That's probably because they landed in Western Australia and
yeah,
it was barren.
yeah, no, that's literally
Still
what that's
the same
literally
thing,
what
isn't it?
happened.
Western Australia.
But like that's the thing. Captain Cook, he went, "Oh, let's just keep going. Let's see what's around the next bend," and ended up with New South Wales.
Wow.
Let's keep watching.
were spices
Let's.
coming from the Far East, but this was before the Dutch had any colonies of their own. Back then, Portugal held a virtual monopoly on the spice trade, controlling all the major
And the
trade routes
slavery
to
trade
their
as
back.
well.
Thus, what the Dutch did was to buy all their spices from Lisbon and then ship them around Europe to sell them at a profit. But
Business,
Portugal
bro.
was absorbed into the Spanish Empire in 1580, and of course the first thing the Spanish did was to close off Lisbon to the Dutch merchants. Suddenly, the main artery of the Dutch economy had been cut off, and there was really only one thing the Dutch merchants could do. They had to sail to the Far East and build their own trading network. At first, this effort was very decentralized. Merchants from various Dutch cities would establish companies for single voyages. Essentially, they would fund a few ships and their sailors, and they would send them off to find a new trade route to the Far East. Some missions were successful and came back with lots of spices, but most did not go very smoothly. During the first 6 years of the expedition effort, a total of 65 ships were sent out. 1 in 10 never made it back, and those that did came back with only a third of their crew on average.
God damn.
Imagine that.
Imagine trying to find like a route on sea
Oh my god.
without a fucking. How the fuck are you gonna like? Oh, my fucking compass, yeah,
No, no.
looks right to me.
The way
As
that,
fuck.
the way that seafarers navigated, yeah, if you didn't have a map,
Google Maps.
Google Maps, yes, they pulled out their fucking old-timey compass and just fucking spun up the internet into the sails.
Dang,
projected
they had
it.
that fucking
Yeah.
safari.
Exactly.
You know what's
Right.
crazy? Like to think about like, okay, I need a job. Let's go to the port today. Let's find a job on one of these ships.
Dude, that's dedication.
Oh my
If like
God.
those are the statistics, and you know those are the statistics, and you would, if you didn't know the exact number, you'd be knowledgeable enough to know you're probably not coming back, and yet they commit to it anyway. But like they would navigate using the stars.
That's crazy. Looking at the stars thinking, oh, that's where my bitch at.
because it's a matter of it's got to do with constellations and just
Yeah.
knowing where you are, like where that is in the
Looking
sky.
at the fucking spoon and bitches these days be reading and that shit and my astrology side. I'm like,
Oh, that's why I'm an asshole.
So sure, like, yeah, no, exactly. Like, you'd have your map to know where you're trying to get to, right?
Mhm.
And you'd have your compass, and that's like guiding you more or less. But then you can see at night, it's like, oh shit, this is where I am.
I would have shot my pants. No cap. These men were brave individuals, man. Brave.
let's fucking find out who shot their pants when one of the ships out of the 10.
Not controversial, hot
Suffice to
topic.
say, being a sailor in these early fleets wasn't a very safe job.
Say that
Nevertheless,
again.
these early voyages gave the Dutch the knowledge and experience on how to establish a more permanent trading network. But coordinating individual merchants, each of whom was competing with the rest, is difficult to say the least, and with the English, Spanish and Portuguese all trying to create their own trading empires, the Dutch knew that they had to band together. In 1602, under the patronage of the Prime Minister of Holland, the various expedition companies
Whoa.
united.
Can someone actually read that? I can't. Like,
His
Johan,
actual title was Lands Advocate of Holland.
Johan van
What the fuck? Landesadvocaat.
Johan van Oldenbarnevelt, I would guess.
Oh my god.
That is the closest pronunciation we're
Yeah, I will accept it.
I'll accept that.
Take it. I'll take
Bro, I was stuttering for half a second.
it.
Into a single company with vast sovereign power. Its name wasn't the Dutch East India Company, even though that's how we call it today. It was actually the United East India Company, or VOC for short, and its creation...
Oh my god.
Bro, India was so influential to Europe that they had to set up companies to go there.
It's because of the spice, no?
It's
Yeah.
fine.
Because it's
It was
spice.
everything was bland in Europe, so they needed something in life.
Yeah, more than salt and pepper. I'm just saying.
400 years later, white people, I know I'm bagging myself, we still haven't figured it out.
No, I think it's mainly just the British, bro. They haven't got the memo.
Let me get my fish and chips and a fucking pie.
I don't wanna get cancelled, but you ever seen a white woman in a kitchen that hasn't cooked in her life? Chicken? Yeah, cool. Oh, it's fucking bland. My favorite thing ever though was for Christmas I got this box set of different like hot sauces. I fucking never finished. But they were like, because I'd used different ones for different things, so they all ended up half empty. But oh my god, they were delicious. My
Bro,
family hated me.
I swear if you ate that bland shit and threw it up and ate it again, that would have more flavor than the fucking first time when you cooked it.
Legit.
Oh yeah.
Let's go.
Go on.
marked a new chapter in the history of the Netherlands. The political motivations were clear. The Dutch needed a new economic engine to fight off the Spanish and to restore their war-torn country. The VOC was their only hope, which is why it was granted not only a monopoly on trade, but also the ability to train its own army, to negotiate and declare war, to occupy land, and even to enforce slavery.
Imagine a
But
company
just
today.
getting permission to do all these
oh, wait.
things
That's basically they became their own nation within a nation under the moniker of a company.
Crazy. Imagine a company, Apple today having a freaking, like an army or something.
Bro, why? You got the NWA, isn't it?
NWA.
The Gun Association. What's that?
NRA?
NRA, yeah.
NWA is the rap group from the
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, what?
My bad, my
Non-white
bad.
association or something?
No,
to do all
they
these
just hired
things
their own rap
meant
group.
nothing
Yeah.
if the VOC
Bounces.
couldn't actually do them, and to conquer the Far East would require a lot of capital. The VOC, however, figured out an ingenious solution, which would later on become the cornerstone of modern capitalism. In the center of Amsterdam, the VOC built a trading house, where every Dutch citizen could go and buy shares of the company, effectively giving the VOC money now in exchange for a claim on its profits in the future. The VOC had effectively
Damn, that's crazy. Share market,
Yeah,
like an
the
actual
first-
place, is a market.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So you're telling me America was not the first ever share market?
No.
Nope. The Dutch created the first share market in the world. Shout out
And you
VOC.
created-
Even though you guys did slavery, but shout out VOC.
Shout out to the share market.
No. They were innovative, they were progressive.
Ahead of their time.
They were ahead of exactly.
You're also telling me that because of the Spanish people, like the Spanish rule, they had to force themselves to innovate and then create a stock market.
Yes, sir.
Fuck me, man.
Let's go.
We did so much more,
created
but
the
yeah.
world's first stock market, and the VOC itself had become the first publicly traded
First
company
publicly
in
traded
history.
company.
Pretty much every rich man in the Netherlands invested in the VOC, and even many immigrants did so. In total, the VOC's initial public offering raised over 6 million guilders, which is equivalent to about $110 million today. And keep in mind, this is coming from a country that's half occupied by Spain and whose economy had been in the drain for a decade. Of course, circumstances were favorable to the Dutch. The Spanish Empire was at war with England at the time, allowing the Dutch to sweep into the Far East and kick out the Portuguese establishment. The first victim of the VOC's colonial ambitions was Indonesia. The Dutch conquered modern-day Jakarta in 1611, slaughtering the locals and building vast spice plantations on nearby
Progressive, very
islands. With the
progressive.
island of Java as its headquarters,
You seem to be so
VOCs
proud,
spread
Jack.
throughout the Far East.
You know what?
Their factories in India
That's
produce
business.
exquisite silks and furs.
Oh, we're gonna get cancelled!
What's happening? What's happening?
It's okay.
What happened? What did he say?
He said that's business. Capitalism.
It's no slavery.
Alright, let's keep going. Indonesia got fucked, by the way. God damn.
There was a housing crisis.
I don't know.
Alright, keep going.
To Japan to trade for their famous and crucial supply of silver. The VOC got silk from China as well, which also produced valuable porcelain. What matters though is that the profit margins
Mr. Worldwide,
the
they were the
VOC
first
earned
pitbull.
by
Facts.
monopolizing these trade routes were as high as 1,500%. And all of this money was of course being funneled into the Netherlands.
Stonks.
They finally won their independence in 1648, and with that out of the way, the VOC's profits were invested in one type of project unique to the Netherlands: land reclamation. You see, the Netherlands is extremely flat and is below sea level, which makes it prone to flooding. But if you build dikes and keep the water out, you can turn swamps into farmland, and that's
Yes,
exactly what
you
the
heard
Dutch
that
did
right.
with their VOC profits.
Yep.
Just by looking at the geography, you can tell when the VOC was running at full force. In total, over 1,500 ships sailed for the VOC during its 2 centuries of existence, and its influence is still felt to this day. Many former Dutch colonies, for example, still bear the scars of the oppression they suffered. But the VOC has other
Wait a
interesting
minute.
legacies
Wait a
that
minute.
few
Hold
people
up.
know.
Hold up. Let me cook.
Okay, thank you, because there are no scars.
So you're saying the Dutch were the slaves of the Spanish, but then the Indonesians were slaves to the Dutch.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck is going on here? Like,
Middleman. You need middleman.
Slaveception.
Hurt people hurt people. That's,
Wow.
that's pretty much what it
They
was.
needed some therapy, but they couldn't find it.
The therapy was slaving someone else.
Yeah.
Fuck you, I'm gonna fuck you, gonna get fucked too.
Yeah, it's like the school bully, right? He's being picked on by his parents. His dad's calling him fat. So he goes to school and then he beats you up and he
Yeah.
takes your lunch money.
But not just that, Jack. What amazes me is that somehow this company did better than a government where they not only bought back their freedom, they did land reclamation.
Yes.
So you're telling me Netherlands already does reverse global warming somehow in terms of
It's
land.
not just that. You know what I'm really impressed about? Obviously, there were negative aspects of it, but also at the same time, they decided to band together and help their fellow countrymen and just improve their country's situation. Like how do you see that these days? A company that's actually in the interest of their own people.
No, I do
No,
not.
not really. But like, that's innovation. We fucking had it figured out.
Well, we're going to start to see the fall eventually, so let's keep going on. Let's see.
We'll be back.
Cape Town, for instance, started
Cape
out as
Town,
a
South
VOC
Africa.
resting station in 1652. A decade earlier, a VOC merchant discovered 2 big land masses.
Before we get to this,
Who is this fucking Tasman looking motherfucker? Look at his forehead, bro.
before we get to that, did you know that in South Africa, the language that they speak, Afrikaans, is actually a derivative from the Dutch language?
Yes, I'm fully aware of that.
Insane.
I think the original language or one of the tribal languages that are popular there are Zulu.
Zulu, yes, yeah.
Even their language was slaved by the white people. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy.
We're just spreading the good word.
They're spreading their culture.
Yes,
and all that.
exactly.
So majority of the white South Africans today, they speak Afrikaans. So yeah.
It's a lot of.
Well, what's the other language? Bambaklat. That's one. That one.
They have Zulu, and yes, that is how it's pronounced. Yes.
No. But like during World War II, there were a lot of Dutch people that went to Africa.
Yeah, and settled there.
Yeah.
So like when Dracus Duplessis from the UFC says that he's African born and he's a true African, but then that triggers other black guys in the UFC.
Mm-hmm.
He's actually speaking the truth. He's been there.
Yeah, I have seen that. Yeah,
He's been there for generations.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Abel Tasman guy that we're pausing at, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's the guy.
Yeah.
We'll watch on. I'll add my points to it.
South of the Dutch Indies. He called them New Holland and New Zealand, and you can guess
Damn.
which one
Fuck.
stuck and which one didn't. But in any
That's
case,
crazy.
Damn.
an
That's
ideal
crazy.
set of circumstances gave the Dutch the opportunity to become a colonial empire. A perfect storm in the late 18th century ended up destroying the VOC. To start things off, the Dutch lost a disastrous war against the British in 1784, which disrupted the VOC's network in Asia.
Conceded.
Then, just a decade later, the newly created French Republic invaded the Netherlands and conquered them. With the British attacking in Asia and the French attacking at home, the VOC really had no chance, and officially went into bankruptcy in 1790.
No!
Sadly, without the spice trade, the Netherlands lost their status as a global power.
No!
And speaking of spice, Cheddar, who worked
Fuck
in
Cheddar!
technology and fun,
More money, more
designs
problems, I
videos
guess.
that leave you craving
I'm-
for more.
Literally
If you haven't
though.
seen them,
Mm.
That's
Wait, wait.
That's how it works.
I don't understand here. So you're saying they managed to create two countries, New Holland, aka Australia. By the way, Tasmania is named after Abel Tasman.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Mm.
And New Zealand. They didn't occupy those countries, by the way, but they just called them that for some reason. And they were dominating the spice trade, but somehow they still lost against Britain, a war nation.
Well, we'll get to that. We're gonna watch a video on how Britain conquered the world, and that's gonna highlight how Britain actually surpassed the Dutch and became the new global power.
Yeah.
Far out. Like, yeah, I'm keen to know. Let's start.
No, yeah. Look, we're just resting at the moment. All right. The Dutch will be back. It's
Yeah.
just we're biding our time.
Yeah, they're slowly, going everywhere, and they're, they're making their moves,
Yeah, exactly.
but in silence.
Shadow organization.